Welcome to episode 4 of The Journey. In this episode, we're going to cover the career of Nicky Cowley and in part, his brother Nicky Cowley, who despite being manager and assistant, see themselves as equals. In 2007, after spells at various clubs in non-league, Nicky Cowley found himself playing for Concord Rangers. A career-ending injury meant Cowley quickly transitioned to coaching and he became joint manager with Danny Scopes after a brief spell as assistant. During his first season in the dugout, Cowley, alongside Scopes, would lead Concord Rangers to the league title. They won the Essex Senior League by the finest of margins, a +9 goal difference, having finished level on points with Enfield, which was 77 in total, and 3 points above Barkingside. Danny wasn't the only Cowley hero at Concord that year. His brother Nicky was part of the playing staff and was vital to their success. Danny Cowley and Danny Scopes, with Nicky Cowley as a player coach, would oversee another successful league campaign in 2008-2009. Concord beat Redbridge 6-0 and Malton Town 1-0 in their final 2 league games to secure a playoff place. Concord played away from home in the playoff semi-final against East Thurrock, who'd missed out on the title by 1 point due to a final day defeat. Concord went into the tie as huge underdogs, but ran out 1-0 winners and would progress to the playoff final where they'd face Waltham Abbey. In the playoff final, Concord and Waltham drew 1-1, meaning the tie would be decided on penalties. Waltham won the shootout 5-4 and Concord would miss out on back-to-back promotions in the cruelest of circumstances. After missing out on promotion on penalties, Nicky Cowley and Danny Scope would aim to go one better in the 09-10 season. They again secured the playoffs, but this time in more convincing fashion, finishing runners-up with 86 points. Crucially, this would give them a home tie in the semi-final and the final should they progress. It was a repeat of the semi-final from the previous season. They played East Thurrock, the only difference being that Concord were at home this time. Even the result would be the same. Concord won 1-0 and it would be a chance at redemption for Nicky Cowley. Concord would play old Essex Senior League rivals Enfield Town, and having failed to beat Enfield in both of their league games, it would be a tough ask for Concord. 752 fans turned out to watch Concord beat Enfield in the playoff final, giving Cowley his second promotion in 3 seasons. 10-11 and 11-12 would see 2 seasons of consolidation for Concord Rangers. They finished 8th and 2 points outside the playoffs in the 10-11 season, but would drop to 14th in the 11-12 season, gaining 14 points less than the previous season. Danny Scopes would leave Concord in 2012, meaning Cowley would take the reins alone. After a disappointing 11-12 season, Concord and Cowley will have been keen to push for the playoffs, but after 6 games, they'd won just 1, with 2 draws and 3 defeats, leaving them 19th. Mid-December had seen Concord pick up slightly. They'd amassed 26 points and sat 10th in the league. From there, a run of 6 wins on the spin seen Concord rise to second, but it was incredibly tight, with just 2 points splitting all 4 playoff places. Concord followed up this run of victories with a solid block of 10 games, winning 5, drawing 4 and losing just 1, again seeing them sit second at the end of March with less than 10 games to play. Concord lost 4 of their final 9, but their fantastic mid-season form had been enough for them to secure 4th. Cowley would lead Concord to a 2-1 away win at Wealdstone in the semi-final, meaning they progressed to the final where they travelled to Lowestoft Town. Lowestoft had lost just 4 of their 21 home games during the league campaign, but Cowley would mastermind another Concord promotion. An 85th minute winner would see Concord achieve promotion to the Conference South, their highest ever level. It was 3 promotions in 6 seasons for Nicky Cowley at Concord Rangers. As well as promotion through the playoffs, Concord won the League Cup in 12-13, beating Dulwich Hamlet in extra time 3-2. The 13-14 season can only be seen as another big success. It would have been easy for Little Concord to get stuck in a relegation scrap, but a 9th placed finish is huge credit to Nicky Cowley. Concord also claimed their first ever Essex Senior Cup in 13-14, defeating high-ranked opposition Braintree Town 2-1 at Victoria Road Ground. In 2014, Nicky Cowley, brother of Danny, retired from playing at Concord after a very successful time playing under his brother. Nicky then became assistant to Danny. Concord would improve slightly in the 14-15 season, finishing 7th under Danny and his new assistant Nicky. It was away from the league where Concord would make the most noise in the 14-15 season. In the FA Cup, Danny and Nicky led the club to the first round proper for the first time in history, having gone through 3 qualifying rounds. Concord would be tasked with League 2 opposition Mansfield Town. They drew away from home 1-1, forcing a replay on Canvey Island. Mansfield would run out 1-0 winners, but Concord could bow out with their heads held high. Concord also retained the Essex Senior Cup with a 5-0 victory over Billericay Town in the final, and by doing so became the first club in 15 years to win consecutive Essex Senior Cups. At the end of the 14-15 season, long-serving manager Nicky Cowley departed the club to become first-team manager at National League side Braintree Town, having won 3 promotions and 3 cups since his appointment in 2007-2008, in the process becoming the most successful manager in the club's history. His younger brother and assistant manager Nicky Cowley also moved to Braintree Town, having made 268 appearances for Concord as a player, the majority as club captain, before making the switch to a coaching role in 2014. The Cowleys had a poor start to life at Braintree Town, winning none of their first 3 league games, but they're going to win 6 of their next 9, leaving them 5th place after 12 games. At the start of December, Braintree reached the midpoint of their season. They collected 40 points from the first 23 games and sat 6th. Between December and April, Braintree would win 8, draw 4 and lose 5 of their 17 league games, meaning they remained 6th and sat 1 point outside the playoff places with just 5 games to play. In their final 5 games, they'd play 4 teams who were sat inside the top 9, giving them an incredibly difficult run-in. However, 13 points from a possible 15 sprung Braintree to 3rd, securing a playoff place. Securing the playoff place meant Cowley had led Braintree to their highest ever league finish. A fantastic achievement in his first season at the club. Braintree faced Grimsby Town in the playoffs. They won the first leg away from home 1-0 and looked in a prime position to progress. However, a 2-0 defeat after extra time in the second leg, seeing Braintree miss out on a playoff final. After just 1 season in charge at Braintree Town, Nicky Cowley, along with brother Nicky, moved on to Lincoln City. Lincoln started the season strong, and this continued throughout their first 23 league games. They were sat top with 49 points at the halfway stage, 2 points ahead of Forest Green and Tranmere Rovers. In the middle of March, Lincoln had dropped to 2nd place, but had 3 games in hand over league leaders Forest Green. We'll cover the reason why Lincoln had so many games in hand in a short while, but continuing with league business, Lincoln knew that the league title was well and truly still in their hands. A remarkable run in their final 11 league games, seeing Cowley's Imps go unbeaten, winning 8 and drawing 3, which would see Lincoln 1 point short of the 100 mark and secure the league title 4 points ahead of Tranmere Rovers. Incredibly, it was arguable if the league title was even Lincoln's biggest achievement that season. Lincoln City scraped through their FA Cup 4th qualifying round in a replay against Guiseley, but were going to achieve something quite remarkable. In the first round proper, they defeated lower league side Altrincham 2-1, setting up a second round tie with League 1 side Oldham Athletic. Underdogs Lincoln held on to defeat Oldham 3-2 at home, having been 3-0 up after 47 minutes. Victory against Oldham had put Lincoln in the hat with the big boys. They were drawn away to Championship side Ipswich, and surely it was a step too far for the National League side. A 2-2 draw forced a 3rd round replay, which Lincoln would win 1-0 courtesy of a 91st minute winner from Nathan Arnold. Arnold's winner set up a home tie against Championship side Brighton, who were flying in England's 2nd tier, sitting 1st place ahead of Newcastle United. Brighton led the game 1-0 until the 57th minute, when Alan Power levelled from the spot. A Fikayo Tomori own goal after 62 minutes put Lincoln 2-1 ahead, and they wrapped up the tie with the late Theo Robinson winner. National League side Lincoln had beaten Championship leaders Brighton. It was Premier League opposition for the Cowleys next, Burnley away. The bookies had Lincoln as high as 10-1 to win the tie, and probably nobody other than the brothers in charge gave Lincoln a chance. With 89 minutes gone, the tie was 0-0. Burnley had dominated the shot count 17-4, but these would count for nothing when Sean Raggett popped up to send Lincoln through. This really was the magic of the FA Cup. A quarter-final tie away to Arsenal would prove a step too far. They were beaten 5-0 but weren't disgraced. By many, it's considered this FA Cup run was a greater achievement than the league title. The 17-18 season would again be another successful one for Nicky Cowley and his brother Nicky, despite late heartbreak. They hovered in and around the top 7 in League 2 all season and would claim the 4th and final playoff place. Despite a 3-1 aggregate defeat in the playoff semi-final to Exeter, Lincoln could be proud of their achievements. A bigger success story for the Cowley brothers in 17-18 would come in the form of Cup glory. They won the EFL trophy with a 1-0 victory at Wembley over Shrewsbury Town in front of 41,000 fans, which was Lincoln's first cup success since 1988. Danny Cowley would be keen to improve further in the 18-19 season, and they got off to the best possible start, winning 5 and drawing 1 of their first 6 league games. They then lost at home to Crawley Town on match day 7, but would again win 5 of their next 6 games, putting them 4 points clear at the top after 13 played. A Boxing Day defeat to Crewe marked the midway point of their season, and Lincoln was still top, 4 points clear. Between 29th of December 2018 and the 13th of April 2019, Lincoln went 19 games unbeaten, winning 9 and drawing 10, putting them 10 points clear at the top with 4 games to go, meaning 1 win would secure them the league title. Results elsewhere meant Lincoln would be crowned champions. Danny and Nicky Cowley had taken Lincoln from the National League to League One in just 3 seasons. 7 games into the 1920 season, Lincoln was at 5th place in League One, but Danny Cowley and brother Nicky left Lincoln City. They took a manager's and assistant manager's job with Huddersfield Town, who were playing in the Championship, after relegation from the Premier League. After a successful run of 6 games unbeaten throughout the month, Cowley won the EFL Championship Manager of the Month award for October 2019. The rise of Danny Cowley and Nicky Cowley has been nothing short of remarkable. They've achieved success at every club they've been, and we look forward to seeing how their journey progresses at Huddersfield Town and beyond. Thank you for watching the journey, and if you are enjoying the series, then please like and subscribe.